don't
All
have my
right.
notes up, so I'm like super, super prepared.
But this is our podcast. It is the reality that we are in, and we just show up as we are,
And
right?
we
This
get
is
we
how it
get to
happens.
we get to make the rules, which I love. Um, and if people don't want to listen to that, that's fine.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, yeah.
Although
So,
I also realized the other, I don't know if I guess we've officially started because you've hit record.
yeah.
Um, but I realized last week that we record it almost like you're supposed to watch it. I don't really record it with just listening in mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you do the same?
That's,
Like to
well,
me, it's like a visual thing too.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, because I feel like if people watched it, they get like the bonus like
Yeah.
stuff because they get the
hmm
funny like additives that we add in and the little pictures and the
This was a
comments and
this was like a big
yeah.
turning point for me in podcast. I mean, especially when you work from home, you don't have like the commute, and that was like where I would
Yeah.
listen to podcasts back in the day. And when I stopped
Yes.
commuting, I only, and like same with audiobooks, I only listen to them in the car.
Yeah.
Occasionally on walks, but usually it's like all of us walking together. So I'm
Hmm.
not doing that. So it's only in the car. So like I think just recently you were like, I haven't gotten any book updates. It's like because I haven't
Oh,
been in the car.
we haven't been in the car. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so for our listeners and viewers, so Casey and I, we like to do these audiobooks, and what we'll do is we'll give each other book reports. So it's almost kind of like we're learning, and then we share
Mhm.
our insights, and which is really cool
It's
because
one
many
less book I
times,
have to read.
yes, exactly. And it's also really fun too because there've been ones that you have read, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to read that,
hmm
or like listen to it because I
Yeah,
think was it Kamala's book?
I think so.
I think it
Yeah,
was
I'm almost
Kamala's
positive.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that was because I traveled to Ohio last year. I know you know this,
hmm
but I literally listened to Kamala's book on because we've trained ourselves to listen on double speed. Um, I was able to listen to her whole book on two times the speed,
Yeah.
and I killed that book from the time I got on the plane until I was almost at my parents' house back in
hmm
Ohio. And it was one of the most incredible books. I also did that with Michelle Obama's book, and oh my, those are
Harder to do.
probably
Michelle's is longer, much longer, I
yes,
think.
yes. That one
Uh,
took me quite a few
I was gonna
different
say, and I think
days.
Obama's book takes that one took me a long time. I was
Yeah.
walking and listening to that one because I was like, I've got to get through this book. It was a really good book. It's just very long. Um,
Yes, yes.
so yeah, those were all. But Kamala's was, I think much. I mean, it was only 107 days. It was a shorter
Yes.
read because it was a shorter amount
Yeah.
of time that she covered.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think those are, but for me with like podcast, I hadn't really started listening to them again until a lot of them were also doing video elements on YouTube. And
Yes.
then it was more like a show that I could watch. And then for some reason it like clicked and I was like, oh, I tend to tune out just audio things. It's like white
Yeah.
noise in the background for me. So like I could have them running, but I'm not often like completely tuned into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm like watching and listening, then I'm like fully tuned in and like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is a thing I want to listen to. Um,
Yes, yes. I
so
actually have to like almost like submerge myself in an audiobook. Like either I'm in the car
hmm
and there's nothing else I can
hmm
do,
Yep.
or I have my headset on where it's like noise canceling and everything. So it's just like
Yeah.
I can just be in the book. But yeah, I'm listening to one right now that's like Flow. It's called Flow. And it's really interesting because it's one of those like really deep like
hmm
more in the psychology of human thinking and behavior and all those things. Yeah, I tend to gear towards more of a self-help, educational
hmm
psychology, just because those are the things I'm really
Yeah.
interested in. I don't know, what do you tend to
I am more the I want a real story. I want like a memoir, self-help too. Like I'm currently reading a book called Quit, ironically enough, which is a great read. It is it has a lot of like those same sort of things like psychology and sort of the way we think and how we're really trained basically to think of quitting as a bad thing and a
Yeah.
negative thing. But sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah.
And we often like we'll go like, oh well, I'm just pivoting directions. We'll like try and like soften it, we'll sweeten it with like, oh, I'm just doing this thing over here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's totally okay just to like quit something and say that's no longer a thing that I want to do, that's serving me, that's whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think it came in, I forget who recommended it, but it was a good timing that I just needed to listen to it. I'm
Yeah.
almost done with that one. But I like history, I like
Hmm.
things that are rooted in it's actually happened. Um,
Yes.
and which is funny. Like, I mean, I've read all of like Lord of the Rings. I was actually thinking, I was like, I should probably reread those, which is such a weird thing to think because they are
Right.
very long books.
Yes.
I don't remember why I actually read them in the first, but I was in college, I think, when I read them the first time. But I can't remember like what sparked me to go, I need to read these books. Maybe it might have been the movies
I
themselves.
I mean, it's very possible. I mean, I know that there was that whole like Tolkien kind of
Yeah,
movement where
I got
everyone
swept
really
up
got
in
into the lore and like, yeah, I'm like the total op. I like
it.
veer away from those.
Yeah,
I never got into the Harry Potter books. I
I did
like the
Harry Potter.
movies.
Yeah. Hmm.
Same with Lord of the Rings, like the movies, but never got into the lore. Like I'm not one of I like the fantasy part.
Hmm.
But I think for a lot of my fantasy stuff, I typically lean towards like witchcraft
Hmm.
and um the what's that like it's more like witchcraft tone like connected to like some sort of like historical something.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I studied art history in college, and
Hmm.
anything that has to do with like those historical moments, like and putting fantasy to it, I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, what if this really happened?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It
So,
was very weird. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, I really don't sway towards like uh even like Tolkien, Harry Potter, even all of those. Like it was not
mhm,
really, I think I just got caught up sounds negative. But
yeah.
like a wave went through where everyone was kind
Yes.
of doing that. And
Yeah.
um but yeah, Tolkien especially, I really, really, really love those books. I was like
Yeah.
quoting them. I knew the whole like one ring to rule them. I drove my friends crazy, like memorizing that. I could not pull it
You
out
were that
currently.
person.
I really was. And I still really love them. I think the other thing I was thinking about this because they're all kind of popping up again, all the little hobbits.
Hmm.
And now with Colbert working on the next iteration, I haven't fully read up on that if it's a movie or whatever.
What is this? I
Um,
have not heard
yeah,
of
okay. So
this.
last week, it was announced that um, Colbert is like that's the next thing he's gonna be. So Colbert is a huge Tolkien, like I mean, like he's like an expert level, like yeah,
Holy cow.
knows about it more than some of the experts do, kind of thing. He's like super into
Oh my gosh, I
the
had no
universe. And
idea.
yeah, so he's super intelligent guy. Like, yeah,
Oh,
fascinating.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Like, but he's like Lord of the Rings is his thing. Like that he loves Lord of the Rings.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and I didn't realize I saw it just on social over the weekend, like how ingrained, like they're like, no, he knows his stuff. Like he's like well respected by the I don't Tolkien head. What do they call them? What they have a name? Are they
Yeah, right. Like,
Swifties? Are they Tolkies? I don't
right.
know. Um, but anyway, I'm sure they do, and I just don't know it.
Probably. Yes, yes.
Um, but so so I haven't read this fully, but he's working on whatever this next story
That's
or whatever is
insane.
with I think I don't think he is alone writing it, but he is part of, I guess, the team that is
That's,
writing it.
I
So
mean, if you're gonna have somebody who is
yeah.
just like expert level knowledge
Hmm.
on the whole, because I know there's like
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
it's like more than lore. I feel like
yeah,
it's like a thing.
yeah.
Because
It's kind of it's
even
up there with like Star Trek and like Klingon, like people who can speak Klingon. I'm like, how do you
yes.
speak a language that doesn't like I mean, I know all
I
languages are
know.
made up. Like,
Yes. Well, and I remember one of Colbert's episodes he had, is it Liv Tyler?
Hmm. Yeah.
The elf,
Hmm.
yeah, and she came on and she spoke Elvish,
Yeah.
and he was just like,
Uh-huh.
he was just in heaven. And I remember that. But now that you're saying that he's like
Yeah.
really into it, totally
He's
makes sense.
really,
Well,
really
good
into
for
it. There's
him.
there's got to be a YouTube like clippings
Uh-huh.
of
It has to
all
be.
the, I mean, because he just had ah shoot, Elijah on. I was gonna say Frodo, and I was like, that's not
Oh,
his real
not
name. That's no.
isn't it just so funny
That's his
how
Hobbit
like
name.
someone will play a character and you just assume
Yeah,
that like that's the
that's him
first name you
forever.
go to? I know. I feel like that's unfortunately, I feel like Jim Carrey got sucked into a little bit of
A
that
little bit.
too
Hmm.
with his stuff and
We just
uh,
watched the Bruce Springsteen, what do they call these? Biopic, like a biopic kind of like, so it's
uh-huh.
about Bruce, but it's, a movie. It's not like a documentary kind of thing. And Jeremy, oh, what's his name from, oh, this is so terrible. From The Bear, the chef guy, the main guy. You
Oh
all will
yeah,
know
him
him.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
surprised
yeah.
I knew his first name. Why I cannot remember his last name?
Okay.
Terrible. Anyway,
Okay.
he has incredibly blue eyes in real life, and Bruce Springsteen does not. And so while we were watching this movie, I was like, I am really destroyed by like the brown eyes in this movie. Like obviously I know I don't know if they did contact lenses. I don't know if it was like digitally enhanced. I don't, it was
Yeah.
a strange tone of brown to begin with. Um,
Oh,
and it like it took me out a few minutes because I was like, I know why they're doing this. Obviously, it's so that you're not thinking that's
yeah.
the real guy. That's,
Right.
this is a guy playing Bruce Springsteen. But yeah, there was like at least two times where I was like, I don't like these brown eyes on this guy. That's, it'd probably be like, I have very
Yeah.
blue eyes too. It'd probably be if I showed up with like
Yeah.
deep brown eyes and people
Yes.
would be like, who, what?
Yeah, something's off. Yeah,
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
or my husband
I
has like
same.
really
Yeah.
red hair, if he shows up with like not really red hair. That's people kind of do a double take. But yeah, that was something that was like, that's so interesting that like sometimes you get so wrapped into like a person in a certain
Yes.
role that like you almost can't take them out of it. And this was like the opposite of that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I
Yep.
oddly enough, like of my many majors that I went through them all. But one I thought I was going to stick with was like screenwriting and like um I used to have a column like uh for movie reviews and stuff like that back in the day.
Oh my
And so I
gosh.
thought it was like going that I didn't know if it was directing or cinematography. I had no idea, but I thought something with like movies was going to like align.
Yep.
Um, Obviously it did not. And script writing is uh not for the faint of heart. I took a whole class on it. I was like, there's too many rules, is what it is. And on top of just writing the story, you have to think about how people are moving and a
Yes.
lot of the details, right? And so I was not well equipped for that
Yep.
at the time. But yeah, I thought that, so that I kind of, like kind of where you with like art history, I like love movies and like a story, just storytelling, like really like good storytelling.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
no, almost no matter the media, so long. Speaking of which, a
Yep.
tangent, if you will. Threads has amazing storytellers.
Oh my gosh.
This
Oh
might
my
be the
gosh.
new like storytelling platform, I think.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to link a few of our favorite
Oh
thread
man.
lore stories now below. Um and I think, you know what, we're gonna have to do a new segment of like our favorite stories of the week.
Oh my gosh. I
Because there's so many good ones, first of all.
I 100%
And we
agree.
all get sucked into them.
Yes.
And then the ones you miss, inevitably one of your friends will be like, have you seen this one?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but the big one this past weekend was Bro Cruise.
Bro cruise.
And
Yes.
what a tale for the ages on Bro Cruise.
Oh man. I mean, just it encompasses a little bit of everything, right? It's the everyone knows someone that has had something similar or someone who would do something like
We should
this.
probably do a quick like synopsis of
Synopsis. Okay, yeah. So in a nutshell, a woman, she had a friend, and he was going away on this cruise with these other gentlemen for a bachelor
bachelor
party.
party. Yep.
And pretty much nothing was planned except we're going on the cruise. And now this gentleman, her friend, he was a type A, so he had his hotel booked. He like had a plan in place. Um, and later ended up getting the title Rat King.
Mhm.
But all these guys show up, and it's just like you could literally picture movie people like in each of the roles, just the amount of like craziness. But anyways, so the gentleman just kept texting her updates, and she would react and give,
Threads
ask
helped
questions.
crowd fund his Wi-Fi. He did
Yeah,
not have the Wi-Fi package. Threads ensured he had the Wi-Fi so that
it
we
was
could get the
insane.
story.
Yes.
It was really wild. And
Yeah.
we'll have to link the one
Yes.
post of like the casting was like I don't know if that person is a casting director. If not, they should consider it.
They should be. Yes.
It was phenomenal casting. I was like, I would see this movie tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
also to the point now you see, I think probably a fair assessment that mostly women are on Threads. It is like a sub
It
platform
definitely
of
feels,
Instagram.
yes. Yes.
Um, but you can see a lot of us are now also sharing these stories with our significant others, our partners. And some of them are like, that is too much. Why?
Yeah.
And then you have the likes of my husband who's in the other room going, wait, what happens next? And I'm like, we
Next.
have to wait for the next thread.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten the update yet.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
it
just
is really like beyond just the story. It is a true, and I will have to also link that video that you shared with me yesterday about the woman that's like, this is a true success story
yeah.
of two small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's both the woman who was sharing all of this, she
Yep.
also owns a cheese, like
Yeah.
she puts together charcuteries and
Charcuterie
like
board.
all of
Yeah.
these things. So like way to go for her business because now
Yeah.
like everyone knows about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have a gentleman who jumped on the Bro Cruise like Threads, and
Yep.
he owns a seaplane business down
Mm-hmm.
in the area that they were going to be at.
Yep. And down in the
And
part of the
he,
Bahamas that they were in. Yeah.
yes. And it's like, so not only did he get extra business on this, but like
Mm-hmm.
Carnival Cruise Lines totally missed out.
Yeah. Oh,
And I'm just
it
like,
wasn't Carnival. It was
oh,
the other one.
the other
Gosh,
one.
Royal Caribbean.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Royal Caribbean.
Carnival, but
But
how
like,
probably would have been all over that.
I'm you would think, right? But like just I mean, what a wonderful
Hmm.
like joy it brought to so many. I mean, the
And like
laughter that I had
on
out of
top
that.
of that, like because I think the immediate thought, and this is a normal, natural, you should have this moment of like, did they do it just for the business?
Right.
No, no. Like
No.
the way she started this was just literally, yeah, there are some of those out there, and there are some of the threads that we learn as they kind of unfold. They are
Yes.
made up and
Yep.
fictitious and that sort of thing. So you do have to tread carefully and do
Yep.
your due diligence and that sort of thing. But this truly was just a natural, native, social at its best, if you will,
Yes.
sort of example. And those are the things I love. Is that, and I think I was literally just had therapy earlier this morning and told her, I was like, what I love about Threads is that a lot of it is what social was intended to be. It was
Yes.
intended to connect people around the world that
Yeah.
could just share funny stories and moments and exchange. There's another story where, the girl is getting like Beanie Baby rabbits donated to her for a prank on her
Yes.
mom, and there's a whole different story going on there, right?
Yeah.
And so there's so many things that are happening that are just truly what social and the internet uh, was intended for. I think we
Yeah.
have plenty of examples that misuse of those things, right?
Yeah.
But the moments that are happening here are one, so unhinged, so funny. People are
So funny.
so hilarious, so
Oh my
creative.
gosh.
I'm jealous of all of
Yeah.
them.
I
I'm like,
know. I
how
think
do I
that's
get
what
this
gets
funny?
me. Yes, like people out there, like the comments,
Yeah.
the memes, the GIFs, like everything that they
Yeah.
share in relation to this, it's the whole, like you said, it's the social
Yeah.
part, and it's just
It's
brilliant,
it's the
like
best.
so
It's the
much.
best of us is all I
Yes,
can say.
yes,
Again, it is it's algorithmic, so it is what you feed it. So you have to feed
yep,
it good things, and the more good things you feed it,
yep,
the better it gets at that.
yep,
I've heard some people say, I see some not great things on. Yes, it's because that's
yes,
probably you fed it something.
yep,
So yeah, I think we're going to be talking about more of those in the future because so far we've
yeah,
had like 3 or 4 back-to-back weekends of like amazing
yeah,
stories and great examples. So we will for
yes.
sure be highlighting some of those um, as our podcast goes on. But yeah, such great moments.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like also the elder millennials way of having an incredible adventure without
Yes.
leaving leaving your home.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
and it's a little nostalgic too because it does
yes.
feel like back in like early Twitter days. Which
Hmm.
I liken that this is probably like 2012 2013. Like I liken that to my college days really more than
Yeah.
my college days. Because it is
Yeah.
how I got into what I do professionally now. It was Twitter just kind of on that cusp of this sort of energy where you could connect. I connected with so many like wedding professionals back then. It through a community, through a hashtag that had a community around it. Some I still
Yeah.
talk to this day. I never would have met any of those people otherwise.
We would
Based,
have never met.
we never would have met. Yeah, I mean that oof,
Literally. Like
yeah.
we are, yeah, prime example
In
of that.
therapy, we might not even get to the turkey today, but this is good because we're on a roll here.
That's okay.
Um,
We don't
the
always have to bust the
I know
turkey out.
the turkey can have a break. In therapy today, we were talking about networking, and she was saying that I do this really well, and I was like, "Thank you, I know."
Yes. Yes.
But apparently, Gen Z looks at networking as like a nepo baby type thing, which is this is the first time I've heard of this, and I was
What
like,
is
"What?"
this?
So
Do
Gen Z
tell.
thinks like if I were to get you and obviously let's say I have a role open at my company and you go, oh, I'm interested in applying that. I said, great. And then you put in a referral and you go through the whole process and you get the job. They somehow, and could be wrong because I just heard about this morning. So let's preface
Okay.
it with that. But Gen Z looks at that like I helped you to do something or get something as like a Nepo baby thing. And I was like, no, Nepo babies are like you have your mommy and daddy have money and get you jobs that you do not earn or like you don't
Right.
earn your way kind of thing. Like you get handed things because you're so privileged that like you don't I have examples
I
in my head,
mean,
but I won't say them because I don't want to,
well, yeah.
start a thing. But like to me
I
that's more Nepo baby. It's not
can see,
we're connected and so therefore because you didn't get the
yeah,
job because I knew you. You got the job because I might have said, put in a referral and said, yes, I vouch for this person.
right.
Um, but you did the work. You
Exactly.
came along in your own ways, in your own experiences, with your own resume, your own
Yeah.
interview skills, and you still had to go through the process. They didn't just hand you the job, right?
Exactly.
I think to me, like the Nepo baby thing is like your parents just handing you something and going like, now you're the heir apparent of
Yeah.
something and you
Yeah.
didn't work for it. I think that's the other big piece. You did not work for this thing. You just get handed a thing.
Right.
Um, and you get handed a ton of money and now you get to be a millionaire, and do millionaire things. But I
Yeah.
think if you work for it, I'm like, that's no, that's just good relationship building. That's good like
I was gonna
connections.
say, I'm
Like
like, I don't feel like, as someone who really values and literally did
yeah.
relationship
And we
management,
we both are. Yeah. Like we're both
we
very, very
both,
big on this. Yeah.
yes, like, and that's why I am like such an, like, I don't just connect with anybody on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. I am like, I think I may have said this on a
I
previous
want to say I
episode
think
where it's like,
yeah.
I know every single person. I
Yep.
can recall a story or a conversation that I've had with every single person on my LinkedIn. I
Hmm.
know that I'm a unique little, like, person
I
to
am
be able to
different,
do
but
that.
also I don't vouch. If I don't know you, I won't. I won't do it.
Exactly.
You can connect with me,
Exactly.
but I'm not putting you
Yes.
in for a referral just because you connected with me.
Exactly, exactly. And the same, like, and I'm one of those people that I really value the relationships that I've
Hmm.
worked to build over the years. And it's, I mean, it's work, it's commitment. But it's also like so rewarding
Yeah.
because when years have passed and that relationship reaches back out
Hmm.
and you immediately remember that conversation or you remember something like it's it goes so far for that other
Yep.
person, right? That experience that they're going to have with
Hmm.
you. So I know you and I both we look
Yeah,
at
we're aligned on
networking
this.
and
I was just like
relationships.
floored that Gen Z, what the heck?
I know.
Uh, we
Mm,
have to have a conversation about this.
I feel like
And
maybe
maybe
it's
that's
just
just like a
not knowing
subset.
enough.
I don't know.
Yeah, like I feel like it's also my like a little bit of I don't want to say naive because but like being where we were then and where we are
Hmm.
now and how much we know now. I feel like it's also it comes with time and experience and
Yeah.
knowledge
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
and all of that.
I
So
even I
maybe
even told my
it'll
therapist that
change.
like for me like my pop-up was big on and we grew up in New I grew up in New Jersey, so like it's all about who you know, right? Like
Yeah.
and my I mean from the day I entered this world, my pop-up had like just was always like I know a guy. Like that's the running
Yep.
joke that my grandfather would know a guy
Everybody knows
if
a
you
guy.
needed something, if you like, there was a time in our lives where my husband was working offshore and somehow my grandfather knew a guy who knew a guy. And I'm like, what? How
Yes.
do you know a
Yes.
guy that like knows him in the middle of the Gulf? Like, how is that possible? Um,
Yep.
that was my grandfather's magic, right?
Yep.
Part of it. And so I always kind of grew up with that like built in to just innately, like, and
Yep.
it's not what can you do for me, but like what can we do for each other? How do we build each other
Exactly.
up? It's community, right? It's really like
Yes.
building that muscle, and it is a muscle and a practice and all that kind of stuff.
100%.
Even being introverted, like you still need other people, and it's one of those things that I always approach those moments, and we've had these conversations too where like if you said, hey, I know someone and you should connect, hell yeah, let's do that, right? Like
Yeah.
you and I would not be friends if we didn't say that to
Exactly.
someone who connected us,
Yep.
right? So to me it's like those connections are about, I can't know everyone on the planet.
Yep.
um but 6 degrees of separation is like a, I always think about that too.
It's
I'm
totally a real thing. Like
Yeah, it really is. I used to play the game.
it's
I used to do it with Johnny Depp back in the day, I think, or Ben Affleck was the other one. Occasionally Kevin Bacon, because that's how it started. But
yeah.
I was really big at talking, going back to like movies and stuff like that. And we would be working at a deli, local deli, and I'd have a friend like call out a random actor, or actress, because the shifts were long and you'd get bored. And
Yep.
I would 6 degrees of separation it back to one of the actors that we were like focused on. Um, I don't know if I could do that today either. I was because back then I had so much time, I was watching so many movies, like,
I think,
yeah,
I think I think it's different now. I actually don't
yeah,
even feel like it's 6 degrees anymore. I feel like
yeah.
we're so much more connected. And also the game's changed.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the things that has popped up a couple of times at my work is the playbooks that we used to use, they don't work anymore.
Yeah. Hmm.
The playbooks companies used to use to navigate in the marketing and the world and all of
Hmm.
those things, like they don't work anymore.
Yeah.
And everything that you thought a job was, if you go in
It's
thinking, oh,
changed.
I'm just going
Yeah.
to be able to repeat this and rinse and repeat, nope, it's not the
No.
same anymore. And I think I think that well, long term, I think we need to have like a whole like conversation about um just how things have changed in
Hmm.
because I know our worlds are separate, but yet we partner,
Yeah.
a lot of ways from a professional standpoint. But I think there's a lot to be told about what has changed. And,
Hmm.
if we do start to what do you call it? Well, Gen Z, if they start all of a sudden listening to our podcast, maybe we can share some knowledge and drop some, transition conversations of
Probably
what that looks.
cringe.
Maybe, yeah.
They
Or
probably,
maybe we could have a Gen Zer as a guest one
yeah.
day on our, on our podcast. But yeah,
There is a great
it's
I don't watch it a ton. There are a couple really good podcasts out there though and shows. Scott Galloway has one and I forget the name of it. I'll have to look it up, but I think he has a Gen Z co-host on that.
oh
Um
nice.
and he's got to be Gen X. I don't know his age, but
Oh yeah, he's probably right on
or is,
that
or is he
that
like maybe
cusp.
a young boomer maybe? Because
Maybe
it
I was gonna
surprises
say
me
he
that like
might.
Obama is a boomer, but he is like he's a young boomer. Yeah.
Yeah, he might, they might be kind of in
Yeah.
that, like we're kind of in that elder
We're cuspy.
millennial
Yeah.
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Mm-hmm.
maybe they're in that like little window of
Yeah.
time, just like us.
But I think it is such a like an interesting conversation. I love like the younger generations. I love like watching them. I love like generational conversations and like,
Yes.
like our parents would get a job and work there 40 years and retire, and that no longer exists for
Nope.
us.
Nope.
What we thought was one layoff is now like a series of layoffs,
Yeah.
and how you ride that and what that looks like for an entire career. So I think there's a lot of, I think that's what excites me about the world we're currently living in, which there's not a ton, but the big one for me is that like we are in this path of like we get to create what's next, and what
Yeah.
does that look like, and I think we've learned a lot of what works and what doesn't. There's still a lot that's unknown, but I
Yeah.
think there's that to me is really exciting, that like
Yes.
you think about all we've learned in just our lifetimes, right?
Oh
Thing
my
even the past
gosh.
5-10 years, right? That you're like, I did not
Yeah.
realize that was a thing, that
Yes.
and now we have a fix for that thing, and um a lot of that I think is only going to make us better in the future, and that makes me
Yep.
excited. But it is
Yes.
going to require us all too to build relationships, and learn from each other. And you have a whole subset of the population who got hit really hard with COVID, in terms of like kids that were in school who missed,
Yep.
like, just like blank for a year.
Yep.
There was another thread yesterday that I was on too, where someone from New York, well, no, I'm sorry, I think she lives in Florida, but she was asking like, why do they always talk about like Northeast schools being so much
Mm-hmm.
better, and like down here we're so far behind? Why is that? I don't feel far behind. And like the conversation that came from that was so incredible. And it was just a proof point too, that like, I mean, teachers were involved, like there's, just so many
Yep.
people coming in. But like for me, like I was raised in New Jersey public school system for 10-ish years, right? Came down here, and one of the first lessons was like the 5-paragraph essay, and my teacher walked by me and was like, this, write notes to your friends at home, and you will do the assignments and the tests and all that but you do not actually need the lesson, because
Oh
like
man.
the kids that come from up there to down here tend to be ahead,
Yeah.
if not by months, a year or two, right? And so down
Yeah.
here, they was trying to like advance me, and I'd be like, no, 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 I'm not good at math. I would like to stay in the normal math class with the normal
Mm-hmm.
math kids. But when it came to like writing and English and things like that, then it was like, yes, go do more,
Yeah.
write more, that kind of thing. Because I had that in like probably the third or fourth grade, definitely by fourth
Wow.
grade up there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting too that even like our country's so big, right? That
Yes.
like just regionally there's so many differences, county to county, state to state, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
So I think those are things too that we're gonna have to probably tackle in the future.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I think in going back to like how big this country is, I don't think people can really grasp the
Mm-mm.
size of how large the United
No.
States is. I mean, just for me, if I wanted to drive to my parents' house in Ohio, which is not all the way to the East Coast,
Mm-hmm.
but Seattle to Ohio would take me 31 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I think to get to you, it's something like 37.
Yeah. Yeah, at
So
least. Yeah.
yeah,
For me
like
to fly to you, it's at least 6 hours from
yeah,
Orlando to Seattle. And that's nonstop, I believe. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure the last time I did
yeah.
it.
I mean, it's
And to drive from
that's
like here to New Jersey, New York, again, that's not even all the way up and all the way down the East Coast. That's at least 18 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Just to get out of the state of Florida from where I'm at is 4 hours. And if I
Yeah.
drive 4 hours south, I still haven't reached the southern tip of like Key West. That's like an 8 hour drive. So like the state of Florida is probably a
Yep.
12 to 13 hour drive. Like
Yep.
it's similar. California is very similar, I think. Like I think they're
Yeah.
even longer. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. There's a guy I think on Instagram who grew up in the UK and now lives here, but he does some things where like, it's, you think it's what a 2 hour drive in the UK will get you through like multiple like
Oh, yeah.
countries sometimes,
Yep.
and like here, no, that's not even going to
No.
get you to the end of a state probably. So
Yep.
just like the vastness of how big the country is,
Hmm.
is pretty wild actually when you think
Oh,
about it,
yeah. Oh, yeah. It
Canada's
is.
probably in a similar boat too,
Oh my
because
gosh.
they're
Yes.
they're like the same, but then they go out.
They, out and up.
It's my geography lesson.
Yes.
It's like that.
Exactly. No, it's crazy. Yeah, I feel like just that whole how humans grasp time and space
Mhm.
and all of
And our
those
maps
things
lie to
is
us. That's
our
another big
maps lie. Yes, they
and
totally
another thing, the
lie.
maps are liars. Have you ever seen a map with like the actuals? You're like, what?
Yeah. You're like, oh, look how tiny that is, but look how huge.
Why have I
Like,
been lied to my entire life?
yes. Yep. Yep. Maps lie, and
Mhm.
it's also very like United States centric,
Yeah.
and it's, yeah, a whole thing. But I feel like we could get into a whole other conversation, but we are at time. Um, so I feel like if we had to kind of wrap up this whole podcast, I feel like it's a couple of different things. It's connection, it's
Mhm.
community, it's conversation, um, and just the like, yeah, because the whole community piece, that's like
Yeah.
social, like
Yeah.
in
It's
its
yeah.
best.
Yeah. And I think it just working across, generations,
A
states,
hundred percent.
you know,
Yes,
making sure those communities all intersect at some point, and share
exactly.
knowledge and that kind of thing. Like that goes back through human history. It's why our technology advances have gotten this far.
Yeah,
Communication and connecting have been central to all of that.
100%.
So I love this tangent of a podcast because that's what this
See,
entire. I
and
love that
we
I never
all
know
get
what we're
back. Yeah,
going into.
but we always come back. We always like,
We always have a point at some point. We always make sure
exactly,
it happens.
exactly. Well, thanks to our listeners for
Yeah.
joining today, and I guess tune in next week. I'm sure the show notes are going to be filled with all sorts of
Oh,
goodies and
I can't
links, and
wait to write these.
oh my gosh. All right, well, signing off, and we'll talk all the things next
Talk,
week.
see,
Peace,
thread at you
peace,
later. Bye.
peace out.